Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video. In tonight's video, we are going to be talking about some early awesome class setups for this game because the class setups work in sort of a really different way where it's a huge grind to unlock your weapons to the max level. And I know a lot of people are playing this game because it just came out. I'm around level 30 myself. I think I'm level 29 at the time of recording this video. And I wanted to show you guys some of the awesome weapons out of the assault rifles and SMGs for the first couple of levels as you're getting through that up to level 55 and unlocking stuff and slowly making those good class ups to use during the first week or two of the game and even after that. We're going to cover and talk about a lot of stuff in this video, a lot of different class setups, and I have 5 of them here we're going to talk about, and these are setups that I think can be really good for low to medium levels and to just punish early in this game because it was just released, well, last night as I'm recording this video. If you could drop a like on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and go for 702 likes. Smash that like button. It takes literally half a second, so I'd really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get right into it. So this class setup right here is a good one to get you going right off the start. Now, when you first got onto the game, you will see that basically the weapons that you're starting off with are sort of going to be a couple of assault rifles and a couple of SMGs. That's usually what you're going to be focused on. The AUG, the P90, and the Kilo, is that how you say it? The Kilo 141, the FAL, which I didn't really use much because it's semi-automatic. Definitely going to have to play with that later. But the M4A1 once you unlock that, and the FR, which is basically like a Famas. So right here is a really good early level class setup. Coming down to the perks, I go with overkill right here, and overkill is really good for this first little bit of the game as you're trying to level up different weapons at once and just have multi-uses, because there's a lot of maps in this game where there's huge lines of sights and assault rifles are very good for that, but there's also some close corridors where an SMG can be absolutely nice. So this right here is a really good starting class setup if you're just logging on, you're a low level. Overkill as far as the first perk to carry 2 primary weapons. Restock, which is actually your first unlocked perk 2, which recharges your equipment over 30 seconds. This is basically just for claymores because of how overpowered claymores are in this game. It's honestly ridiculous. And then amped allows you for a faster weapon swap and rocket launcher reload speed. So this is pretty much just there for one reason, the faster weapon swap. Honestly, the perks in this game, they are sort of, some are good, some are sort of weak or mid-level, I guess you could say, similar to Black Ops 4, honestly, where the attachments are really the brute of the class setup, but the perks can be important in this game as well. So those are the 3 perks I would go with as far as this, and this can be a really good early level class setup. Now, of course, flash grenade, just because the flash grenades are very effective in terms of the stun grenade. You know, if you hit them with a stun grenade, you can see they can still, like, watch this. You use a stun grenade, and you can see their reaction here. They still have a chance to kill you, right? Look at that. You can see in the mini screen right there. But if you hit them with the flash grenade, ain't nobody really going to be killing you when you hit him with the flash grenade. And that's why I think flash is a really good combo. You throw this into a building, bank it off a wall, and you're in there doing whatever you want. So that's what we have. And then we go as far as the class up. So of course, as you level up your weapons, you're going to be unlocking stuff. So when you start from level 1, you won't have any attachments at all. And in previous CODs, it's like you would just have to level up to level 15 or 16 and you would have everything. This game, it goes up to like level 70. So it is an absolute grind. But let's go ahead and talk about some good attachments that you can use on this Kilo when you first start out. Now, a really good thing to get is this first, for the barrel, the SynGuard arms, whenever you're available for the first one. As you can see, the con is aim down sight speed, but the pros you're getting with damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control are very strong, especially a weapon like this, which I compare kind of to like the ACR from previous CODs. It's not like that, like complete non-recoil, but it reminds me of it a little bit. You can see you're not really trying to aim down sights fast. You're trying to be prepared, and you're trying to do damage at range, shoot high bullet velocity, and control the recoil. So I think that can be a very helpful thing. As far as the muzzle and the laser, I don't really use them on this weapon. At least the first early couple levels one, which you will have unlocked, really aren't worth too much. You know, you can conceal the muzzle flash, which I have a red dot sight, and I really don't mind it too much for a bullet velocity drop. And you can add a sound suppression suppressor, but you have to give up so much. Your aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. I just don't think it's worth it on this weapon. What I rock with an optic is definitely this GI Mini reflex. Before you unlock that, you probably want to go with the operator reflex sight, and then as you level up and get up to the GI Mini, probably stick with that one. Stock is very important, especially on this weapon, because the first stock you unlock gives you aim, walking, movement speed, which is the traditional stock. That's a very big deal, and that's one thing that I think is really underrated about this weapon. As far as other attachments I go to finish this off with, you want to use your first foregrip here where you give up movement speed. Once again, doesn't really matter too much on this weapon. weapon for recoil stabilization, that's how you say it, aiming stability. And then with my last one, if you go with your ammunition, you can see you can add up to 50 rounds, but your aim down sight speed, your movement speed gets slashed. That can be all right. Or you can just go with a perk right here. Honestly, if once you unlock this, you could probably go with that instead of the perk recon. But for those early levels, stick with the perk recon because it gives your enemy nameplate at range, which really helps you to identify people, similar to how marksman was in previous games. And then as far as the overkill, this is a really early setup, of course, with early weapons. Overkill with the AUG can be pretty nice. And the AUG is one where, I mean, the suppressor, honestly, I think it was on the default class, but I really wouldn't use it too much on this weapon. You can see, because like what you're giving up, it seems like a lot for sound suppression, which doesn't even keep you hidden on maps or anything. So with this weapon, usually what I would look for is a laser for the SMGs, especially because you can see you pretty much have no negativity to these lasers. So you want to unlock those as soon as possible and use them. The barrel right here, once again, I think it just is worth it, even on an SMG here, giving up your aim down sight speed a little bit to get all of those pluses. The stock on this weapon, once again, is very, very important because just like the weapon I just showed you, which is kind of rare, the first stock is a pretty good one, improving your aim walking speed. Then I just go with the Commando foregrip, which would be the second one. On this one, you actually, to get recoil control and hipfire accuracy, you have to give up your strafing and your aim down sight speed. I don't really think that first one is worth it, the Merc foregrip. I would probably wait out, maybe use something else here, perk or something, until you're able to unlock the Commando foregrip. That's probably what I would say. And when it comes down to the rest of this weapon, the rear grip on this weapon, honestly, they aren't that good because, once again, you're giving up stock for an early one. This one is, of course, worth it. Recoil control for aim and stability. However, you don't unlock the rubberized grip tape until later. So I would stick with just something like this. And, of course, if I have an extra slot here, probably just go ahead and slap on a perk, which usually I like to use recon. Just shows the nameplates at range. On an SMG, it might not be as useful. So you could either rock with FMJ, which is, of course, self-explanatory, full metal jacket bullet penetration, or a melee stun power, probably FMJ for a class up like this. So something like this would be a good setup. Obviously, you might not have all these attachments when you're first starting out, but it's just about picking from these first couple selections as you unlock them. And of course, unlocking, there's 21 different sites. This stuff is not going to be unlocked until very, very later in the unlock process. So that's a really good class up for starting out. I think overkill is a good way to get used to the weapons and have weapons for multiple places. Like the Kilo is great at range, the AUG is great up close. Here is what class it up just for a sort of rushing setup. If you're looking for an SMG, I don't know how good at playing SMG style is in this game, but I want to include a rushing setup here, especially with the P90, which is an early unlocked SMG. And the thing about the P90, you can see here on a rushing class setup, double time, which will double your duration of sprint and increase your crouch movement speed by 30%. Really, really good for rushing. Ghost, of course, is something you're going to want to rock pretty much on a lot of setups once it is unlocked. I believe Ghost is unlocked at level 24, which the leveling process in this game is kind of slow, so it is kind of a grind, but once you do get to 24 and get that Ghost, that is very, very useful, especially right now when the game first came out, because of course everyone is trying to spam UAV, spam personal radars, and all that other stuff. And once again here, Battle Harden, which reduces the strength of enemy flashes, stuns, and EMP effects, can be fairly effective for a rush sort of class setup if you do have that set up. You can see I run Flash and the Molotov. I mean, honestly, you should probably just go C4. You can mix it up a little bit if you're rushing. Like, if you're just going for tryhard mode, though, Claymore, or sorry, I didn't mean to say C4. I meant to say Claymore. The Claymores in this game are just stupid overpowered. And then your secondary, just slap on the highest level pistol you have. So when it comes down to the P90, what sort of attachments do I use on this thing? With the P90, you want to have your first stock available on this one, but you can see, unlike those other two weapons I showed you, it doesn't give you strafing speed. The first stock gives you aim down sight speed, essentially quick draw. So it's sort of weird, but it's like, okay, that's great for a weapon like this, right? This is a rush class setup. That works. And then we have the laser. Of course, you want to just continue upgrading these as you're leveling up. Lasers are very, very good for hipfire accuracy, and there's not too much negativity to this. I mean, the con is the laser is visible to enemies. It ain't really that big of a deal. Down here, you also have the grip tape. The first grip tape on this one is very, very nice as well. You give up a little bit of movement speed for some aiming stability. This weapon is one that it isn't the most stable, so I'd say that's probably is worth it. It depends. You could easily swap this out and go with something else. Rear grip, definitely you want to use your rear grip on this, the first one unlocked. The sprint to fire speed and the aim down sight speed are increased, and the aiming stability is decreased. You can sort of see how this class setup is ramping up to be a quick draw sort of machine. And then when it comes down to what you want to rock with this, you could either go with your FMJ, or you could go with the heavy hitter. If you're rushing a little bit quicker, melee stun power can be kind of nice if you get up too close, but people die so fast in this game anyway. Honestly, you're really not doing many melee fights at all. The time to kill is really ridiculous, so maybe FMJ would just be a better move for a weapon like this. When it comes to using stuff for the barrel, you can see this is more for range. I probably wouldn't use it on this sort of exact class setup. You could rock with something like this, give up a little bit of velocity for a muzzle flash concealment, because the muzzle flash can be annoying on certain weapons, especially if you are using iron sight. So there you go. There is a P90 Russian class setup. Here is one with probably one of the better guns in this game. This is a pretty good class up here. The M4A1, this weapon is absolutely incredible. And what you want to do is if you can get to the stock M16 Grenadier, or honestly either one of these. I mean, this one is a little bit more questionable because you're giving up bullet velocity and recoil control just for speed. So unless you're going for a fast-paced assault rifle class setup, you probably want to wait out for this one. We have in terms of stock, the second stock is what you're looking for here. The first stock is not worth it. You get your aiming stability up, but you give away your aiming walking movement speed. In my opinion, that just isn't worth it, especially on an assault rifle. You don't want to feel like stiff with them, so I don't think that's worth it in my opinion. I would probably just wait until you could go with no stock or the Syngard Arms Invader. As far as the rest of the stuff, the first foregrip, and there's, where you find these weapons where the first attachment unlocked in a certain category is vulnerable or is valuable, that's a big deal. Right here, this is super overpowered weapon, right? The M4. And look at this. Your commando foregrip gives you less recoil, better aiming, and you give up just a bit of movement speed. It's like you're not trying to run around with the map with this anyway. Rubberized grip tape here is another one that's probably worth it. Once again, the first level of this one, I don't think it's worth it because you're giving up your aim, walking movement speed, which to me is very, very valuable on an assault rifle. Of course, there's going to be a lot more testing. This game just came out, but these are just my first impressions. But level 2 rubberized grip tape is really, really nice. And the cool thing about the M4 is you can see sleight of hand is unlocked number 2 out of your perks here, which is really, really incredible because it's not like that on most of the other weapons, at least that I've seen. So that's a pretty good thing because you don't need to stack on right here. If you run extended mags in this game, there's actually bad parts of extended mags, like really bad parts. You lose aim down sight speed, you lose movement speed. If you run sleight of hand, there's no con. So really, really good class up right here with the M4. With the perks, this is more of like a try-hard class up. EOD, which is basically your flak jacket. Restocks, you can recharge your claymores. It sounds like campy, but you don't have to camp with them. You can place them wherever, and it's really, really overpowered in this game. And then shrapnel, which allows you to spawn with an extra piece of lethal equipment, and also your explosive damage will delay the enemy's health regeneration. So if you hear your claymore go off, you get a hit marker with it. Usually they're going to finish people off in this game, but you can probably go over and finish that kill. Claymore once again, and the snapshot grenade. This one is honestly something that I use a little bit. Once I unlocked it, it's pretty cool. It marks them like an oracle from Call of Duty Ghost. Look at that. And allows you, I'm not sure if it marks it for your teammates as well, but it definitely marks it for you and allows you to go and finish off those kills. So you can see the first 3 setups we got here: an overkill setup, a Russian SMG setup, and the M4A1 tryhard setup. And these are all using the first 20, 30 levels of stuff because I know this game just came out, trying to make this video relevant to help people right now. Here is probably, this might be my favorite setup in the game right now. One of my favorites is when you stack the overpowered M4 with the overpowered MP5 secondary. And I love the MP5. It slices and dices up close. M4, of course, you know what that does at range. With the MP5 attachments, what you want to go with this is usually stock, the first laser because it is an SMG. Commando foregrip is worth it on this. You're giving up movement speed, but I mean, it's worth it. This isn't a game where you're really rushing around anyway. It's more aiming down sights around corners, playing strategically and knowing the maps. And another one with this, you can rock with 45 bullets for the 45 round mag. Because of the fact that you don't have sleight of hand early in these unlocks, you won't get it until later. I would probably rock with that if you get that before sleight of hand. If not, you can just swap that out because you probably don't want to give that up and go with sleight of hand here. And then the rubberized grip tape is pretty nice for level 1 on the rear grip because it just gives you some recoil control, which I mean, this thing actually has a decent amount of range to it, the MP5. It's not horrible. It has some good amount of range. And then, of course, overkill. Ghost, and Amped, which is essentially your full-on tryhard class setup. Amped is just for the fast weapon swaps because, of course, M4 is going to do damage at range, MP5 is going to do damage at close, Claymore, and then Flash Grenade. Yeah, this is probably one of my most tryhard setups as of right now, and one of my favorite setups in the game. And then last but not least, for an early level class setup you can give a go, and of course here for the secondary, this is the Deagle, which you don't unlock till later, but just throw on whatever pistol you got. This is the Famas, or the FR 5.56, and you can see a class setup I got with it here: EOD, Restock, and then Shrapnel. Just another one to basically set up Claymores, post up, and pick people off. Now this one is an interesting one because this is a class setup where I don't like to use the default sight on this one. I like to use usually just the level 1 red dot, the operator reflex sight. Then you want to try to stock, literally stock your stock here. Pretty simple stuff you're seeing in terms of what I'm doing with the attachments. Once again, this game just came out, so I'm trying to keep it simple. You're going to look for things that don't bring your gun down in categories that matter. Movement speed does not matter on a Famas, really. What matters on a Famas would be your damage at range, stuff like that. So if it was hurting that, you don't want to use it. Giving up movement speed for less recoil and better aiming, you'll take that probably any day of the week. Once again, right here, you're giving up aiming stability for sprint to fire speed and aim down sight speed, but you also have this, which grants you aiming stability. So it's a little bit of mix and mastering here with the Famas. Of course, the stock here, level 1 stock, is nice on it because you get the strafing ability, which is huge. It reminds me like the M8 from like back in the Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4 days, whatever. Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 days, that thing was nasty if you could strafe with it. And then for perks on this one, I like Recon. This is a weapon you're going to be using more at range. This is a weapon that you might be mixing it up. You might be slapping on a little bit of an ACOG scope and using this in a 10v10 or a ground war. And having Recon where the enemy's nameplates are popping up at a distance like Marksman actually makes quite a bit of difference. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. These are some class ups to get you guys going, some stuff to start out. Of course, the class up videos are going to be very, very interesting this year because there's just so much customization, so much grinding, so much leveling to do. But I think this should help you guys out with some early setups and looking for some cool stuff to use in this game. As far as coming down to the field upgrades that you want to use, for the most part, everyone runs the ammunition box, so I don't really think you need it, honestly. You can just steal it from other people or just pick it up off the ground. I've been running Dead Silence. It charges up fast, and being able to use this, you just pop it, and you don't have to... Footsteps are so damn loud in this game, and I don't know why the preview shows him walking like this. You can full-on sprint mode with Dead Silence, and it is really, really nice. Hear the enemies, and you don't have to worry about yourself, and usually, you know, I basically find an area, patrol it. When I get my Dead Silence, pop that and rush in there, try to get a couple kills, and then back off, bait the enemies out. I really do think that is something that's nice. I have been trying stopping power as well. It is kind of just annoying though because it's a slow charge and it takes a while to reload. But anyway, hopefully this video did help you guys out. If you guys have any questions on the class setups, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know which guns you want to see full class setups for next in the comment section. I'm gonna have to go through these weapons one by one, break down, you know, your best class setup when you're level 20 with it, when you're level 50 with it, and probably when you're the max level. So it's going to be interesting making videos this year. It's going to be a little bit different with the class setups and stuff because of how much customization. And honestly, we'll wait and see. I don't know how this class setup system is. I think it's cool, it's new, it's refreshing. I wish they did a little bit more with the perks, especially because specialist bonus is included. Once you hit level 29, you can start using specialist bonus. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a large variety of class setups. Anyway, hopefully this will help you guys out for the first week or so of the game, or even more than that. These are some nice class setups to use in early levels. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.